Ever get the feeling that truly great leaders are like a rare breed? Like spotting a unicorn in the break room, you know?
It's a thought a lot of us have.
Well, today, we're going to dig into WHY, that is, with Lindsay Wittenberg's book, Become the Leader You Are. She's an executive coach, by the way.
And she jumps right in, doesn't sugarcoat it, says flat out high-quality leadership, it's not the norm, it's the exception.
So it's not just me, then. But what's the deal? Are great leaders born, or is there, like, a bad instruction manual out there?
That's the question, right? Wittenberg's point is, a lot of leaders, they try to fit themselves into this box of what they think a leader should be.
Instead of just being themselves.
Exactly. They're not tapping into their own strength. Like, imagine trying to be a Shakespearean actor when you're meant to do improv. Talent's there, but wrong stage.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So fake it till you make it doesn't really apply to leadership, huh?
Not long term. That's where she sees executive coaching coming in. Not a quick fix, but a way to figure yourself out.
Because even high achievers can have blind spots.
All the time. So it's less about learning some leadership formula, more about what's my style, how do I lead authentically?
I like that. She also talks about systems, though. And honestly, that's kind of vague to me.
It's easy to miss, yeah. But we're all part of these invisible systems at work. Like, think about the unspoken rules.
How decisions really get made.
Yep, even stuff from the company's past that's still hanging around. Ignore it, it'll trip you up.
Can you give me an example? Like, how would a leader who gets systems actually ACT differently?
Okay, imagine there's always communication breakdowns on a team. A leader focused on just the people might be like, Jim's always late with info, Sarah's too blunt.
Right, blaming individuals.
But someone understanding systems, they'd ask, was there a boss who shut down feedback before? Did a merger create this us versus them thing that never healed?
So it's like those dynamics are already baked in, even if nobody's saying it out loud.
Exactly. A leader who spots those patterns, those unspoken rules, they can actually change them, not just get frustrated that people aren't getting it.
Which makes me think about trust. You can't have a team firing on all cylinders if everyone's suspicious of each other.
No way. And Wittenberg, she's big on this. Trust goes both ways. Leaders have to be reliable, sure, but they also need to make it safe for their team to speak up.
To share ideas, even if they're different from the leaders.
100%. It's creating that environment where everyone feels heard, no matter their background or perspective.
Right, because those different perspectives, that's how you get innovation. Like adding more colors to your palette, right? You can create something way more interesting.
I love that analogy. It's recognizing those different perspectives, different ways of thinking, lead to better solutions in the end. But there's this other thing that might surprise people. It's the importance of slow.
Slow. That feels counterintuitive, especially in the workplace now where everything's go, go, go.
Right.
Why is slowing down important, especially when it comes to leading different cultures?
Because when we're obsessed with speed, with instant results, we miss the bigger picture. We make rushed decisions, overlook cultural things that matter, miss chances to learn from each other.
So it's about finding that balance then. Being responsive, but making space to actually reflect and really understand where other people are coming from.
Exactly. And this is huge in workplaces with different generations where you've got different expectations about pace, communication, all of that.
So a leader who understands this slow thing, they might encourage their team to like not fire off that email immediately, especially if it involves someone from a different background.
Right. Or they build in time after a big project, not to jump to the next thing, but for everyone to process, give feedback. It's about making space for that deeper understanding.
Which can be so powerful in a team. But how do we change that mindset, seeing slow as valuable, not unproductive?
Self-awareness, again, both for the leader and the team. Got to challenge that belief that speed equals productivity. Sometimes slowing down gets the best results.
Which brings us back to the heart of Wittenberg's whole argument. Being a better leader isn't about checking boxes or copying someone else. It's about getting yourself, your impact, and the systems you're in. Then you can actually lead for real. Okay, so we've talked about a lot. Self-awareness, those systems, cultural intelligence, even slowing down. It's like pieces of the same puzzle, right? For authentic leadership, I mean.
They all fit together to lead in a way that's real and that gets results. It's not enough to just know this stuff. It's how you live it every day.
Right, makes sense. But how do you become this kind of leader? Is it something you're either born with or not? You got to believe it's not all genetics.
It's a mix, to be honest. We've all got strengths we're born with, but it's a journey figuring out your leadership, your values, what drives you, those natural tendencies you have.
Finding your own voice as a leader, not trying to sound like someone else.
And that can be scary for people, to put yourself out there like that, especially if you're used to playing it safe.
Definitely. So where does someone even start?
Vulnerability. Gotta be willing to take off the mask a little, show up as you are, even when it's uncomfortable.
Because people can spot a fake.
Right, a mile away.
Yeah.
But when you're genuine, true to yourself, that builds trust. You can't fake that.
That rings true. I've been in those spots where I felt like I had to put on the leader act, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Way better to lead from a real place. But it's not just one-on-one, right? Wittenberg talks about how this impacts the whole company culture.
Big time. When the leader embodies this stuff, the authenticity, the self-awareness, understanding those systems, it has a ripple effect.
So how does that actually look, though, in a workplace?
Say you've got a leader who's always about transparency, shares information, good and bad, messes up, admits it, uses it as a lesson for everyone.
People see that.
It catches on. Others feel safe speaking up then, sharing their ideas, even if it's different from what the boss thinks.
So it becomes part of the culture. Trust, open communication, everyone's valued. It's not just about the leader anymore. It's the whole team's energy.
Exactly. That's what she means by becoming the leader you already are, unlocking that potential in yourself and everyone around you. A workplace where people want to do their best, not because they have to.
Okay, that's powerful. But how do you measure that? If it's not just hitting those quarterly numbers, what does success look like in this framework?
Now it gets interesting. Because when you shift away from that I'm in charge model to something more collaborative, people-focused, the old ways of measuring, they don't tell the whole story.
So it's not just about profits anymore.
It's bigger. Creating a place where people feel valued, respected, like they can do their best work, a culture of innovation, learning, all of that. And yeah, results matter, but not at the cost of your people or your values.
That's a huge EE change for a lot of companies. It takes guts to put people and purpose alongside profit. Easier said than done, I'd imagine.
It takes work, for sure. Got to be willing to shake things up, to be vulnerable, to stick to your guns even when it's tough.
Embracing the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And using what you learn to be a better leader for yourself and everyone you're leading. Okay, I'm ready for the how-to now.
Yeah.
What are some real steps leaders can take to make this real? Give me the to-do list. How do we actually do this stuff?
Starts with you, right? The leader. That honest look inward, building that self-awareness.
So being okay with feedback, even the hard-to-hear kind.
Exactly, and really being open to how other people see things. We all have our own lens, but a great leader remembers other people's views. They're valid too.
It's like building that safety net psychologically so people can actually speak up, brainstorm, even disagree with the boss.
And for leaders to do that themselves. Admit when they don't know. Be open about their own learning. That gives everyone else permission to do the same.
It's so different from that old school, I'm the boss, I know everything.
Night and day. This is more, we're in it together, let's figure it out. And don't forget the slow thing we talked about.
Right, making time to actually think, strategize, not just racing to the next deadline.
Because if everything's urgent, nothing is. You miss the big picture.
Totally. That's how mistakes happen, how teams burn out.
Exactly. But that intentional slowdown, that's where the good stuff happens, the aha moments, the creative solutions.
It's like that saying, the longest way around is sometimes the shortest way home.
Leadership's a long game, not about quick fixes, but building something that lasts, something with meaning.
So showing up consistently, being present, being real, leading on purpose, not just reacting to whatever fire needs putting out that day.
That's it. And remembering, it's a journey, not a finish line. We're all a work in progress here.
This has been amazing. I feel like I have a whole new map for what leadership can be. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners heading out on this journey?
Trust yourself. You've already got what it takes to be a great leader. Embrace who you are. Stay curious. Keep learning. That's what matters.
So well said. A huge thank you to you for being here and to everyone listening. Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, keep leading with intention and make the impact only you can make.